Hey y'all, this is Robert. Gonna go up to College Station, pick up Elijah. Thought I'd take you guys with us. Got my car all packed up, ready to go out to Grandma's. Stopped and got some fajitas and tortillas and some chilies, all kind of good stuff. Some sodas, whole bunch of Cheetos, all kind of good snacks. Um, but I thought I'd just start off my trip right here, and it's about an hour 30, hour 45. I think my GPS is showing me about 4 o'clock, right? Perfect timing. Elijah's supposed to be out of school right about that. So we'll see you guys up there. I'll do a little video of the school so you guys can take a look at A&M campus a little bit, and I'll show you the dorm that he lives in and everything. We'll see you soon. Thanks for showing up. Hey guys, so I just want to share this with you. So I just left the house. I'm going down the freeway. I'm at a stoplight. Don't worry right now. Light's red. Got traffic. Anyways, going down the stoplight, down this road by my house, going to these different stops. And every time I come to a stoplight, I hear this boom, boom, boom sound, and I'm like, "What is that noise?" Knowing in the back of my head, it's a stereo system somebody has in front of me. And I'm going, God, that just sounds like noise. And that's exactly what my dad said. Because on the other hand, I'm thinking in the back of my head going, I used to have a stereo system just like that when I was young. And it did the same thing. And my dad says, that's not even music. That's just noise. And look at me now. I'm 52. And I hear that and I think the same thing. It's just noise. All right, folks, we're here, College Station. Just going to give you a little view of what the college looked like. The college actually goes way, let's see if I can point way down over there. That's even part of the college, way down over there. And it goes all the way here. Over here. It's got its own golf course out there. It's a beautiful school. Beautiful. Hey folks, made it. I'm behind, waiting for Elijah to come downstairs. That's his dorm right behind us, Marsher Hall. And all right, folks, I picked up Elijah. He got his hair cut. Last time you saw him, he was probably blonde.
Yeah,
and now,
shaved everything.
Even his eyebrows, even trimmed those up even a little bit too. So
yeah, had to get all the blonde off.
we're matching though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure.
So we're gonna get on the road. We thought we would just say hi, and we'll see.
4-hour drive.
4-hour drive. So you see the hills in the background. That one way over there is actually called Chalk Bluff. And I'll tell you a little story is that when we used to get here, Bennett, when he was a little boy, he would always say, look, we might have made it to Grandma's Mountains. So my mom and dad actually named their ranch, their little ranch they have, Grandma's Mountains. And I'm gonna go down there and show you guys their entrance of their ramp. So we'll see you in just a little bit. All right, guys, we finally made it to Grandma's Mountains. And that's their driveway down to their house. You see the little mountains, the hills, actually they're hills, but Bennett used to call them mountains when he was little. He didn't know the difference from mountains to hills. It was so cute that he thought it was mountains back then. But those are the hills behind Grandma's house, or Grandma's Mountains. So let's go down there and I'll introduce you to Grandma and Grandpa. See you guys in a little bit. Hey folks, so we're sitting in the barn with Grandpa and just relaxing, telling stories. And we got here yesterday and I wanted to introduce my dad to you guys. He's Robert B. Martin Sr. I'm Robert B. Martin Jr. And then Bennett, he's the third. We all came out here to celebrate Grandpa's 80th birthday. And I wanted you guys to come out here also to meet my dad and listen to some of the stories he grew up, some of his stories when he was growing up. So go ahead and tell us the story, Grandpa.
Well, the one that comes to mind right now is I was going with my grandpa, and his name was Robert Edward Snodgrass, and I called him Bob Bob. So anyhow, Bob and I hooked the horse, old Doc, to the sled, put a harness on him, put the sled behind him. We started down the road, and we went about 2-3 miles down the road, and we're going to clean the cemetery. It's called the Moss Cemetery. And that, matter of fact, that's where my grandpa is buried.
Where is that at?
That's
Moss.
in West Virginia, Mud Fork, West Virginia. And the address now wouldn't be the same anymore because they've closed all them post offices over the years. But anyhow, we'll go down the road, and you either go around the hill or through the creeks because the mountains are so steep you just can't go off. You have to go down the road. So anyhow, we're going down the road, and we get in this creek bed, and it's solid rock. And I'm putting one foot down, and I'm like hopping along as he pulls the sled, and I heard my grandpa go, "Whoa, Doc."
So
That was the horse's name.
So let me ask you this, Dad. You tell me you guys are pulling a sled. Why would you guys pull a sled instead of not? You had a wagon.
Well, you don't have anything with wheels on it in the mountains because if you don't stay on level ground, you know everything's up and down hills.
Okay.
And anything with wheels will run over the horse.
Oh, so if you're going down the hill, if you had wheels,
It'd be
the
bumping
wagon
over.
would go so fast it'd run over.
Especially if you got weight on it, the horse can't hold it back. It's too much.
Okay, so you had a sled, so it had friction on the
It just
ground.
drags.
Drags
yeah.
it. Oh, okay.
And so we're out in the middle of this creek bed, and I'm hopping along beside of it, and I don't have no shoes on, and we never wore nothing but just a little pair of short pants.
Right.
And anyhow, I hear my grandpa go, "Whoa, Doc." So I just looked at him, and he come back and he said, "You know, I don't want to see you do that no more. Because if you get your foot under one of them runners, it's going to cut it right off." And we had tools on the sled for cleaning the graveyard.
So there was quite a bit of weight on it.
Yeah, there was some weight on it. So anyhow, he continued on, and he probably went 50 feet across that creek bed, and he was busy, so I just started doing it again. And you know what? Then when I heard "Whoa, Doc" the second time,
You knew you were in trouble, huh?
I knew it was coming, and he come back and he beat my butt.
Wore you out, huh?
He wore my butt out, and he put me up on that sled, and he said, "Do you understand where you stand? You need to stand there." And I said,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
"Yes, sir.
Yes,
I won't do that no more." And to give you an idea how long this has been, my grandpa passed in 1953. So I was 10 years old when he passed.
Oh, wow.
And him and I spent every day together for almost 10 years. He'd take me with me everywhere from the time I was old enough to walk.
Wow.
He was my pal, my grandpa.
So how far away was? You told me about Mud Fork before. So what are some of the towns close to Mud Fork?
Stinson
Benson.
is the mouth. You go to the mouth of Mud, and two creeks come together. You have the West Fork and the Mud Fork. They join there together, and then they become the West Fork.
Okay.
The Mud Fork is done. You continue that to Stinson, then it connects with some more water, which is still the West Fork, and then it proceeds to the left, and goes. Remember where I told you my uncle's car ended up on that, in that creek, in the bottom of that creek. It didn't have nothing but, lucky to have perch in it. It was so small, minnows, and it come such a flood out in the mountains, it washed his car away. It was a brand. You want me to continue with that?
Yeah, you can tell.
It was
some
a
of the story.
brand. It was a brand new '51 Ford, and he didn't. I was 8 years old. He didn't want to drive it up to where our house was because the road was dirt.
So your driveway was dirt? Going back up the Mud Fork?
Yeah, it was all dirt. All that's dirt.
Just was it muddy too?
Yeah, it was muddy, red clay mud. Some of it was red clay mud, and when it rained, you couldn't. That's
almost impossible to get back up in there.
You
Huh?
had to have a 4-wheel drive, and you could even get stuck with them.
Wow.
And the county didn't maintain the roads back in them days. They were just, you might see the grader come through once a year,
Once a year.
and all they do is make a mess.
So who was this that had the car you were telling us about?
Uh,
That didn't want to drive up the dirt road?
oh, his name was Arlen Garnes,
Arlen Garden.
and he was my aunt, my mother's youngest sister, and I think they were married like 2 or 3 times. He was a full-blooded Indian, and they would I don't know what happened to him. They would
But
get
you were
divorced.
talking about his car.
Oh, the one that he didn't want to drive it up the holler. They
Right.
called it a holler.
Holler. Yeah.
So
You know, actually, Loretta Lynn, you hear about Butcher Holler.
Butcher holler. Yeah. Well, anyhow, he didn't want to drive it up the holler. So in the morning when we went down, we were going to go get in his car and take a ride, and you know, well, my dad had an old Plymouth, and that old Plymouth was clear up away from this little drainage stream that just come out of the mountain, and the water got so high that it come up and took that old Plymouth and turned it around and took it to a waterfall, and right before it fell over the waterfall, it stopped. So we got there, my dad says, it won't start. He said if a dog pees on the tire on one of these old Plymouths, they won't start. So it's just his way of saying something.
Right.
So he gets in it and starts right up. So we all get in the old Plymouth, down the road we go. And when we get to the bottom of the holler, his brand new Ford is gone.
Brand new Ford.
Brand new Ford, 51 Ford.
Wow.
Drove it from Charleston up there to Mud Fork. Mud Fork. But anyhow, he said, well, somebody stole my car, and my dad said, yeah, I must have sold it. And so we just headed for the county seat, which was Grantsville, West Virginia,
To report it stolen?
to report it stolen. And we get about 8 miles down the road, and there's a crowd of people on a bridge.
Wow.
And I said, you know, a little kid, you know, somebody must have drowned or something.
Right,
you know.
right.
So we just pull over to the side and we're observing we go looking. We looked over the bridge, and there was this 51 Ford
Oh, my God.
standing like this,
In the
looking straight up in the air.
And how far was where it fell off the cliff to down to the town?
8 miles.
8 miles down the road.
It washed 8 miles down that little, and it's still the West Fork.
It's still,
The Mud Fork, West Fork, all of them. You know.
yeah.
But
Wow.
but
That's something.
anyhow, he got a new one. He was lucky, but got insurance on it.
Right.
Back then, hardly nobody. But
Right.
well, anyhow, he got a new one, and then he would never leave it down there no more.
That's an awesome story, Grandpa. Appreciate you sharing that with us. And we wish you. I'm glad you guys showed up for down here at Uvalde to wish my dad a happy birthday with us. So I'll be seeing you guys soon. And thanks for coming. Have a nice day. Inside, I want to introduce my mom to you guys, or Grandma. Here's my mom.
Hi.
So this is my mom. She's my first love. But I wanted to tell you guys that I appreciate all the comments that you guys give me about my cooking and stuff that I've learned, or my videos that I've done. But I have to give all my credit to my cooking is from my mom, because me growing up, I used to come in the kitchen and visit with my mom while she was cooking, and I would just pick up her skills from watching her how to cook, from her cooking. So this is the lady that I can say that she's the one that showed me how to cook and have the love to cook, because I enjoy cooking for my family, and I put in my love into my cooking and to give it to my family. But I just wanted to say hello to or introduce my mom to you guys.
Hi.
So this is her, and thank you for much for coming and visiting us in Uvalde. Folks, I told you about how I was gonna bring in some fajitas to Grandma's house, and I've prepared them, and I'm gonna show you the finished product now. So come on over here, and I'll show you the fajitas I made. Oh yeah, look at that. Some good looking fajitas. Made that, and I also made some grilled onions over here. Also, go back. Put all these fajitas on here. Look at that. Look at that. That is awesome. Perfect. Those fajitas are perfect. We're gonna go cut these up, and we're gonna enjoy them just in a couple. All right, guys. We wanted to do a little closer, so back that way is Grandma's house. We're headed back to Houston, and actually we gotta go down that road to Houston. Me and Elijah, I gotta take Elijah back to college, We're gonna stop and have a little lunch and enjoy the road back to College Station, and then from College Station, I'm gonna head back. Hey y'all, so we're taking Elijah back to school, and he was saying he was getting hungry, so we're driving through Lockhart, Texas, and no other place to stop in Lockhart but Black's Barbecue. World famous Black's Barbecue, the original one here in Lockhart, Texas. And we went ahead and ate, and man, the food was excellent. If you ever drive through Lockhart, Texas, or around there, make sure you stop at Black's. Hey y'all, well, I made it home safely, got Elijah home, and we had a great time visiting with my mom and dad out there in Uvalde. Thanks for coming along.